My granddaughter's shriek, "Grandpa, run!" shattered the calm of our family cruise. Her eyes, wide with raw fear, pleaded for me to escape the expensive liner we'd just boarded. I obeyed her instinct, and that choice saved my life. You won't believe what my son had planned. My hands were shaking slightly as I reached for the coffee pot, not from age, but from a growing unease. The kitchen was peaceful, bathed in golden afternoon light. 43 years in this house, and I still cherished these quiet moments. The phone rang. Derek's name glowed on the caller ID. My stomach immediately tensed. "Hey, Dad," he said, using the overly friendly tone he always adopted when he wanted money. "Hello, son," I replied, trying to sound neutral. "Well, that's why I'm calling." He cleared his throat. "We need $8,000 for the cruise tickets. Everything's booked. The travel agent needs the rest by Monday." I set my mug down with a clatter. "Son, you're 42 years old, a grown man. Pay for your own vacation." "How can you say that?" His voice went high with false hurt. "We're your family. This is supposed to be a celebration, your retirement." I looked out at my quiet, normal street. "I'll pay for Lily's ticket," I stated firmly. "She's 10 years old. She shouldn't suffer because her parents can't budget properly." "Dad, come on." Now he sounded desperate. "This is about family memories." "No," I cut him off sharply. "This is about you expecting me to fund your lifestyle while you spend money you don't have. I'll transfer Lily's portion directly. You and Evelyn figure out your own situation." The silence lasted too long. "Fine," he finally said, his voice cold. "But don't blame me when Lily asks why Grandpa wouldn't let her parents come on the family cruise." He hung up. I stood holding the dead phone, heartbroken and angry. This wasn't just a request, it was a desperate, ugly demand, and I knew he wouldn't let it go. Later, the sound of car doors slamming announced their arrival. I heard Derek's spare key click in the front door lock. No knock, just an entitled invasion of my space. "Frank, we need to talk," Evelyn announced, her makeup slightly smudged. Derek followed, his large frame filling the doorway. "Please sit down," I offered, trying to keep my composure. Evelyn perched on the edge of the chair, clutching her expensive purse. "Frank, we're not asking for vacation money. We're drowning." She dabbed at her eyes. "We owe $50,000. Credit cards, loans. Derek's company cut his commission." "50,000? How did you let it get that bad?" I asked, already picturing the luxury SUV and the expensive dinners. "It doesn't matter how," Derek snapped, towering over me. "What matters is fixing it. We can get a loan, but we need collateral. Your signature on the application. And the $8,000 for the cruise fits into this how, exactly?" Derek's jaw tightened. "We need this trip, Dad, to show Lily that everything's okay. She's been asking questions about why Mommy cries so much." Then he dropped the bomb, his voice low and threatening. "If we can't afford to go, maybe Lily should stay home, too. Wouldn't want her to feel guilty about going on vacation while her parents lose their house." The manipulation was vile. Using my granddaughter as a weapon against me. "Don't you dare use that little girl as leverage," I said, barely keeping my voice down. But I knew he'd won. I couldn't let Lily suffer. I walked to my desk, reaching for the checkbook. My hand shook as I wrote $8,000. "This is the absolute last time," I warned as I tore it off. "The last time I bail you out." Derek snatched the check without a word of thanks and was gone, Evelyn following close behind. I was left alone, staring at the empty checkbook, the house feeling contaminated by their cold self-interest. Upstairs, I pulled out the old leather suitcase from my closet, the one my late wife Margaret and I used for our honeymoon. My hands moved to pack automatically while my mind raced. I pulled out a file folder and documents spilled onto the bed, a paper trail of my foolish generosity. There was the $200,000 down payment for their house, $30,000 for their wedding, $15,000 for the honeymoon, and $8,000 for the car repair. My calculator confirmed the grim total, nearly $300,000 over Derek's adult life. I had worked 40 years to build that nest egg, only to watch my son treat it like his personal piggy bank. A photo of Lily, smiling with her missing front teeth, reminded me why I was doing this. She deserved a grandfather strong enough to protect her from her parents' selfishness. I packed with renewed focus. Whatever happened on that cruise, I would give Lily the memories she deserved. The next day, sitting in the cramped middle seat of Derek's dented minivan, I felt trapped. But Lily's presence next to me made it bearable. She was buzzing with excitement, holding a worn copy of The Secret Garden. "Grandpa, look!" She pressed her face against the window as we neared the city. "The buildings are getting taller. It's like we're driving into a forest made of glass and steel." Her genuine wonder was infectious, pulling a real smile from me for the first time in days. "That's Manhattan, Princess," I explained. "See the Chrysler Building? Your great-great-grandfather was alive when that was built." The tension between the adults was thick. Derek gripped the steering wheel tight, his jaw twitching. Evelyn, in the passenger seat, watched us through the rearview mirror. "Money can buy many things," Evelyn said suddenly, her voice sickly sweet, "but it can't buy genuine affection, can it, Frank?" She aimed the comment directly at my relationship with Lily. My heart swelled with fierce protectiveness. But before I could speak, Lily's clear, indignant voice cut through the car. "I love Grandpa anyway," she declared. "He's the best grandfather in the whole world, and money has nothing to do with it." "That's right, sweetheart," I affirmed. "You're my most precious treasure, worth more than all the gold in the world." Derek's grip on the steering wheel tightened further, his silent resentment a heavy weight in the car. In the minivan mirror, I watched Michael's expression darken. He realized his daughter's loyalty couldn't be bought or manipulated. It just existed, pure and unconditional. The smell of salt from the harbor filtered into the van. Lily bounced in her seat as massive cargo cranes appeared, followed by the majestic white smokestacks of the cruise ship. "Is that our ship, Grandpa? Is that the Ocean Majesty?" she asked excitedly. "Not yet, Princess, but we're close now," I replied. The contrast between her pure joy and Derek's barely contained anger filled me with dread. Stepping out of the suffocating minivan was a huge relief. As we entered the terminal, the sheer size of the Ocean Majesty took my breath away. It rose 15 stories, its white hull gleaming. "Sweet mother of pearl," I whispered. "Grandpa, it's not a ship. It's a floating palace." Lily grabbed my hand, awestruck. Derek and Evelyn caught up, their faces a mix of awe and calculation. Derek constantly estimating the cost of the marble lobby and the uniformed staff. We boarded via the gangway, a bridge to another world. The ship's entrance staff were crisp and polite. "Mr. Frank Miller, party of 4. The steward greeted us. "You have the ocean view suite on deck 8. Mr. Derek Miller, your interior stateroom is on deck 5. The class distinction was subtle but clear. My gold-edged keycard for the premium ocean view suite versus Derek's plain white card for the standard cabin. The luxury I had paid for versus the standard rate his budget allowed. Lily and I reached deck 8. The view from the private balcony was stunning. "Grandpa, look. There's the Statue of Liberty waving at us," she cried. For the first time since Derek's phone call, I felt peace. The ship's horn sounded a long, deep note, vibrating through the deck as Manhattan's skyline began to shrink behind us. The rest of the day was perfect. I watched Lily thrive in the kids' club, then later, she found me reading in the ship's quiet library. "Can we go swimming after the magician show?" she asked. "They have a water slide shaped like a sea serpent." "Of course, Princess. This whole week is about making you happy," I promised. Later, on the pool deck, I marveled at the scale of the resort as Lily splashed happily. At afternoon tea, Lily burst in, excited about the rock climbing wall and the Broadway show. Despite the underlying family tensions, this moment was perfect. My granddaughter's joy, the gentle rhythm of the ship, and the endless horizon. As evening approached, I helped Lily dress for dinner. You look like a princess, sweetheart, I told her. After tucking her into her bunk in her parents' cabin, I returned to my suite, genuinely grateful for the week ahead. I settled into my deck chair on the balcony, watching the sunset paint the Atlantic. The gentle ocean swells rocked the ship like a cradle. This was the peace I'd worked 40 years to earn. Then I heard running footsteps. Grandpa! Lily's voice cracked with panic as she burst onto the deck, her face tear-streaked and flushed with terror. My book tumbled as I stood, instantly alarmed. Princess, what's wrong? What happened? She looked frantically over her shoulder, then whispered urgently into my ear. We have to get away from here right now, Grandpa. They're going to hurt you tonight. My blood ran cold. Who's going to hurt me? Lily, you need to tell me exactly what you heard. Mom and Dad, she barely whispered. I went back to get my book and I heard them talking through the bathroom door. They said they're going to put something in your drink at dinner, something to make you sleepy. She couldn't finish the sentence, but the meaning hit me with a sickening force. My own son was planning to murder me. They said you'd be drowsy and they'd take you up to the deck for fresh air, she continued, rushing the words out. But really they were going to push you over the railing when nobody was looking. They said it would look like an accident. An old man losing his balance. The chilling level of detail, mentioning the dinner seating and the deck patrol changing shifts at 9:30, proved this wasn't an impulsive act, it was a cold, calculated plan to inherit my money. Listen to me carefully, Princess, I said, gripping her shoulders. My voice stayed calm even as my mind reeled. You did exactly the right thing telling me. You're incredibly brave, and now we're going to handle this together. But what if they see us talking? They won't. We're going to be very smart, I assured her. First, you're going to the kids' club for movie night. Stay there until I come get you. Don't go back to their cabin alone. What about you, Grandpa? What if they try to give you the drink? Let me worry about that, I managed, forcing a reassuring smile. Sometimes the best way to catch someone in a trap is to let them think it's working. The ship's dinner bells began chiming. Below, I could see the elegant dining rooms filling up. Derek and Evelyn were preparing for what they believed would be my last meal. Lily hugged me fiercely. Promise me you won't drink anything they give you. Promise me you'll be careful. I promise, sweetheart. Now go to the kids' club and try to have fun. This will all be over soon. As she ran off, I stood at the railing, the full weight of the betrayal settling over me. My son, whom I'd loved and supported, saw me as worth more dead than alive. But they had made one fatal mistake. They'd underestimated a 10-year-old's courage and a grandfather's determination. 90 minutes later, I sat alone at a corner table in the ship's elegant bar, the Ocean View Lounge, pretending to read the dinner menu while tracking every movement. I'd positioned myself strategically, back to the wall, a clear view of all entrances, close to the bar to hear orders, but far enough away to avoid seeming paranoid. My phone lay beside the menu, the voice recorder app ready, though the screen was dark. Frank. Derek's voice boomed with false heartiness. There you are, Dad. We've been looking everywhere. They approached with practiced smiles. Derek in a bright vacation shirt, Evelyn in a flowing sundress. But I could now see the predatory calculation behind their eyes that I'd been blind to for years. Mind if we join you? Evelyn slid into the chair across from me without waiting. We thought it would be nice to have drinks together before dinner, like a proper family vacation. Absolutely, Derek said, signaling the bartender with an authoritative wave. 3 martinis, please. Grey Goose, extra dry, just like my dad always orders. The specificity made my skin crawl. I'd never been particular about vodka brands. Actually, I said casually, closing the menu. I'm feeling a bit queasy from the ship's motion today. Think I'll skip alcohol and stick to ginger ale. Derek's smile flickered. Come on, Dad. 1 martini won't hurt. We're celebrating our family time together. The last family time we might have, Evelyn added, dripping with fake sentiment. The irony was terrifying. She was right, but not for the reason she pretended. Thanks, but my stomach's bothering me since lunch, I apologized. Sea legs aren't what they used to be at my age. You two go ahead and enjoy yourselves. Dad, it's one drink for family harmony, Derek insisted, the pressure in his voice now unmistakable. He needed me to drink that martini. The cold certainty that my son was attempting to poison me settled deep inside. How about this instead? I stood up, pulling out my wallet. Dinner's on me tonight. Both of you order whatever you want. I'm going to walk off this nausea and meet you in the dining room. Before they could protest, I left cash on the table and walked quickly toward the exit. Behind me, I heard Derek's frustrated sigh and Evelyn's sharp whisper. He's being difficult. I ducked into the corridor near their interior stateroom on deck 5. 20 minutes later, their voices carried clearly through the thin wall. He suspects something, Evelyn hissed. Did you see how he refused the drink? We'll have to be more direct, Derek's voice was grim. Tonight, during his usual deck walk. The patrol shift changes at 9:30, just like we planned. 15 minutes with minimal security coverage. My hands shook as I activated the voice recorder. Push him over. Derek's voice was barely audible. It's the only way now. Make it look like he slipped on the wet deck. Tragic accident. Elderly man loses his balance. The insurance will pay out and we'll inherit everything within 6 months. I had enough. Back in my suite, I replayed the recording 3 times. My son's voice calmly detailing my murder. They thought they were hunting a helpless old man. They had no idea the old man now had the evidence. 14 hours later, I stood at the ship's rail as the harbor pilot guided us toward Hamilton, Bermuda. The pink sand beaches and pastel houses grew larger. My escape bag, containing essentials and the evidence, was hidden nearby. I could walk off this ship and save myself. Grandpa! Lily's voice rang out as she ran towards me in her bright yellow sundress. Isn't it beautiful? Look at the water. It's like swimming in liquid jewels. Her excitement stopped me cold. Behind her, other children bounced with anticipation. Princess, I need to handle some business matters on shore, I lied. Boring grown-up stuff. You go with your parents and have fun. Her face fell immediately. But you promised we'd go snorkeling. Grandpa, please don't leave me alone with them. Please don't go. They'll hurt you if I'm not here to stop them, she whispered, grabbing my hand. And if you leave, who's going to protect me? The question hit me hard. In my haste to save myself, I had left her trapped with 2 people capable of murder. My escape bag suddenly felt like a coward's solution. You're right, Princess, I said, kneeling to her level. I'm not going anywhere. We're in this together, remember. I squeezed her hands. Sometimes the best way to handle bullies is to stand up to them instead of running away. Derek and Evelyn emerged, spotted us, and exchanged a meaningful glance. Not going to shore, Dad? Derek asked, forced cheerfulness back in place. Changed my mind, I said. Think I'll enjoy the ship's amenities while it's less crowded. As they walked down the gangway, I watched them through binoculars. They paused on the dock, heads close together, recalculating their plan. Mr. Miller? A uniformed officer approached. Security Chief Michael Smith, his tag read. Yes, Officer Smith, I said, finally feeling a surge of confidence. I have something very serious to discuss with you, involving threats to passenger safety from individuals who believe they can commit crimes at sea without consequences. 2 hours later, I was in Captain Johnson's private quarters. He listened to the recording twice, his face etched with disbelief. Mr. Miller, are you telling me your own son is planning to kill you on my ship? That's exactly what I'm telling you, and they're going to try again tonight during my usual deck walk, I confirmed. Why come to me instead of leaving the ship in Bermuda? He asked. Because I have a 10-year-old granddaughter trapped with 2 people who've already proven they're willing to commit murder. If I run, What happens to her when they realize she overheard their plans? The captain immediately radioed for Officer Smith. When the security chief urged an immediate arrest, I stopped them. No, I said. If you arrest them now, Lily loses her parents. She's 10 years old. Then what do you propose? The captain asked. Tonight, I take my usual walk on the upper deck at 11:30. They'll come for me just like they planned, but this time you'll be ready. Mr. Miller, you're asking us to use you as bait. That's extremely dangerous, Officer Smith warned. I'm 68 years old, officer. I can't outrun them or overpower them, but I can outsmart them. With your backup, we can catch them in the act and end this without destroying my granddaughter's life. For the next hour, we planned every detail: hidden security personnel, communication signals, and a small emergency whistle for me. Before I left, Captain Johnson shook my hand. Mr. Miller, I've never seen a father show this much courage to protect his granddaughter while giving his son a chance to choose differently. Back in my suite, I wrote a letter to Lily, just in case, detailing my financial arrangements for her. The sun was setting over the Atlantic. In 6 hours, the trap would be sprung. At 11:25 p.m., I checked my appearance in the mirror. Gray hair combed, cardigan buttoned, the picture of a harmless old man. The emergency whistle felt cold in my pocket as I headed for the upper deck. The deck stretched empty under the starlight, 15 stories above the black ocean. I positioned myself at the predetermined spot along the starboard rail, hands clasped behind my back. To any observer, I looked vulnerable, contemplating the ocean's vast, dark expanse. But I wasn't alone. Officer Smith and 2 additional security personnel were hidden nearby. The emergency whistle was warm against my palm. Dad, what are you doing out here so late? Derek's voice, thick with false concern, emerged from the darkness. I turned slowly. Derek and Evelyn were approaching, dressed in dark, near-invisible clothing. Couldn't sleep, I replied calmly. Sometimes the ocean helps clear my mind. You should be more careful walking alone at night, Evelyn warned, positioning herself to block my path back to the entrance. Balance isn't what it used to be, is it? Derek said, stepping closer, closing the distance between me and the rail. They were flanking me, the practiced choreography of their intent unmistakable. Actually, my balance is fine, I said, straightening to my full height. I met Derek's eyes directly. Just like my hearing was fine yesterday when I overheard your conversation about pushing me overboard. Derek's face went instantly white. What are you talking about? I know everything, son. The poison in the martini that didn't work. The plan to make my death look accidental. The inheritance you're so desperate to claim. My voice was steady, despite the hammering in my chest. I even know about the 15-minute window when security patrol changes shifts. You're delusional, Evelyn snapped, but her eyes nervously scanned the empty deck. Evelyn moved to block my only escape route as Derek lunged, trying to force me backward toward the rail. His grip was strong, fueled by desperation. I pressed the emergency whistle to my lips. The high-pitched shriek tore through the night. Security! Security! I shouted, wrestling with Derek. Shut up! Derek hissed, trying to cover my mouth. Suddenly, Officer Smith stepped out of the shadows. Step away from Mr. Miller immediately. 2 more officers materialized, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Derek released me instantly. This isn't what it looks like. Evelyn stammered. Officer Smith's voice was deadly serious. Turn around and put your hands behind your backs. This is entrapment. Derek protested as the handcuffs clicked shut. Conspiracy to commit murder, attempted assault, and endangering passenger safety, Officer Smith recited. Wait until the media hears about this, Evelyn spat as she was cuffed. An old man tricking his family. Enough. I cut her off. You tried to kill me for money. Lily saved my life because she loves me. The only trick here was believing you still had souls worth saving. As the officers led them away, Derek looked back one last time. "This isn't over, Dad. Money changes everything. You'll see." But as I stood alone, watching the stars, I knew he was wrong. Money hadn't changed anything that truly mattered. 45 minutes later, I was in the ship's security office, giving my statement. I could hear Derek's angry protests and Evelyn's attempts at negotiation from the adjacent holding area. "Mr. Miller," Officer Smith said, looking up from his report, "we'll need to contact authorities at our next port. Nassau police will want to interview everyone." "No," I said firmly. Officer Smith frowned. "Sir, attempted murder is a serious crime." I thought of Lily. "Officer Smith, what would happen to my granddaughter if her parents are arrested and imprisoned?" "She'd likely be placed in protective services until family arrangements could be made." "She's 10 years old. She's been through enough trauma without losing her parents to prison," I argued. I leaned forward. "What alternatives do we have?" "Captain Johnson has authority to confine passengers to quarters for the remainder of the voyage." They failed. I'm alive and unharmed. "Sometimes justice is about prevention rather than punishment," I insisted. "Confine them to their cabin for the rest of the cruise. Ban them from any shared spaces. I just want to enjoy 3 more days with my granddaughter." "Are you certain about this decision?" "I've spent 40 years in business negotiations, officer. Sometimes you win by destroying your opponent. Sometimes you win by making sure they can never threaten you again." I stood. "After the cruise, they'll have some very serious decisions to make about their future, with or without me in it." The next morning, the sun streamed through my suite windows, illuminating crystalline Caribbean water. I found Lily at the kids' club breakfast, bubbling with excitement. "Grandpa," she hugged me. "Can we go snorkeling today?" "Absolutely, Princess. Just you and me today," I said. "What about Mom and Dad? Are they still feeling sick?" I knelt down, choosing my words carefully. "They need to rest in their cabin for a few days. Doctor's orders, but that means we get extra adventure time together." "Just us? Really?" Her face lit up with pure, unadulterated happiness. The remaining 3 days of the cruise became a gift. I watched Lily discover tropical fish, taught her shuffleboard, and read with her in the library. Derek and Evelyn remained confined, isolated from the world. On our final morning, as Manhattan's skyline appeared on the horizon, Lily and I stood at the ship's rail. "Grandpa, this was the best vacation ever," she leaned against me. "For me, too, sweetheart." "For me, too," I replied. As the ship docked, security officers escorted Derek and Evelyn to a separate exit. Lily would grow up knowing her grandfather had chosen love over vengeance, and protection over punishment. Sometimes the greatest victory is knowing when not to destroy your enemies, but simply to ensure they can never hurt the people you love. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the right.